Welcome to the Catherine Vandome and Me podcast.
Hello and welcome to Catherine Vandome and Me, and today I'm joined by a very special guest. He is a singer and he's also the heart and soul of London's West End. Please welcome Anthony Bristoe. How are you, Anthony?
I'm very well. It's the heart and soul. It's only me. There's no one else. It's just me. That's how keep it running. Do you know what I mean?
It is a pleasure to have you on the podcast today, Anthony. And how are you doing? Because I know you're down in London. Is that right?
I am, yes. I mean, northwest London. So, yeah.
Okay.
I've been here. Well, I've been in London for 25 plus years now. So,
my goodness.
yeah.
Wow.
Actually,
Well,
I should stop giving dates because it ages me.
Yes, you look very good.
Only a few years.
You look very good for 21. So Anthony and I, if you want to say a little bit about where we met, and then we're going to take you back into your childhood and go from there, Anthony, if you're happy to do that. So where did we actually meet, Anthony? It was on a cruise ship, wasn't it?
We met on cruise ships in 1995, 96. Actually, we auditioned in 95. So, was it Brighton?
Yeah.
In Brighton, if my memory serves me, in 1995, so we met on the cruise ships back in the day, in the 90s. That seems so far away now. It's crazy. And we were both singers, dancers, and singers, actors who moved a bit, then became dancers, actors who could sing a bit. You know? I mean, it was role reversal, you know. So that was almost 30 years ago, darling.
Is it really?
Yeah,
My goodness.
Yeah, 30 years.
And it was.
Oh my God, 30 years next year.
It was some of the best years of our life, I would say. It was absolutely, fun in the sun, wasn't it?
It absolutely was. I mean, at the time, it was hard work. I mean, it was, it wasn't until you had days off or you had a break away from the ocean that you realised how lucky you were to get paid to perform and do what you love and to see the world. And it was, and come away with some amazing friends,
Absolutely. Yeah, that's it. We were blessed because we were sort of all-round entertainers. So we were sort of, I believe, selected because we had the PR skills as well, which meant we could just go up to a random stranger and say, hello, I'm going to come and sit with you and your wife and we're going to have a drink.
Can't do that now.
You can't do that now.
Do that now. In McDonald's, you look like a nice couple. How long are you on the trip for?
But back then, that was what united us all. So Anthony, just tell us a little bit about what your job is today. So you've obviously worked as a professional singer and an entertainer in multiple different productions. And what would you say that you do today, Anthony?
Currently working on Mamma Mia, the musical. But behind the scenes. So for the last 10 years, I've worked backstage in various West End theatres, in West End musicals, doing stage crew work because it's consistent, it's regular, as well as many other things as well. I've got a plethora of jobs that I'm kind of still kind of doing. I'm still like that.
So you're still in the theatre. What you're saying is you're still in the excitement and the hubbub of the West End theatre world, and we're going to come to all the different things you've done. I mean, you've literally done so many things, Anthony, and like many of my guests, very self-deprecating, but actually incredibly. I mean, you've got a singing voice like chocolate. You have a beautiful singing voice, and that I remember distinctly, and you really have. So you're still in the entertainment world, but at the moment, as you say, you're working behind the scenes, which is still in the entertainment industry. And nice to see both, I would say to people as well. Nice to be able to have the opportunity to work behind the scenes and see how the whole production comes together.
Yeah, I mean, I do miss singing, and I do miss performing. I do, but I don't miss the audition process.
Yeah.
I don't miss the rejection. I don't miss the waiting 2 or 3 months to hear if you have the job or not. I don't miss all of that. And
Yeah.
even a lot of my friends who are performers still today, it doesn't matter how many shows you've done, how many contracts, they're still doing the process is the same. It doesn't really. And so I personally was like, I'm kind of done with this. But over the years, as well as working backstage in theatre, I've also been lucky enough to be on the other side of the fence when it comes to auditions. Um, I help out with a lot of casting directors,
Oh, wow.
stage managing auditions. So I'm kind of like in the room behind the scenes there. No, I just facilitate the actors and the directors and the producers and look after them, and basically make sure the actors who are coming into the auditions looked after and are comfortable and have everything they need, as well as looking after the producers, directors that are taking the auditions. So I've been doing that and this is another sideline job. So I've been doing that for about 20 years now, on and off for about 20 years. So and that's fascinating because I work with some fantastic people, but it's also fascinating because you see the other side. I mean, I see all these people come through, and I'm thinking that was me 10 years ago, that was me 15 years ago. So I know what it's like to be on the other side, feeling vulnerable, feeling nervous, feeling all those horrendous feelings that you feel when you're auditioning.
Yeah.
Good enough, or you're not ready, or just or ready, but just you never know where it's going to turn. So I always loved the fact that I had that position where I could make a little bit of a difference, in the sense that I would make people feel comfortable, I would calm them down, I would prep them, I would give them a bit of a boost before they went in. I'd give them a little bit of an insight as to what they're looking for, what to do, what not to do, without giving too much info, just to make it a little bit more of a pleasurable experience for them. And sometimes when I auditioned for things, I kind of wish I had someone like me in the room doing the same thing. You didn't have that. You went in, you got ticked, and that was it. Just a little bit of kind of a one-to-one kind of
That's lovely. Well, that sort of is the essence of you, Anthony, as well. I mean, you have this real sort of empathetic nature,
I
which
have showered, so whatever essence you are smelling or you're commenting about, I mean, I have looked after myself.
I can sense it. I can. But you do. I mean, you ooze charm. That is who you are. But you also have this wonderful way that you do put people at ease. And you're absolutely right. I could have absolutely done with somebody like you backstage, because we didn't have that in our time. It was brutal. And it was harsh, and it was the pleasure of getting through auditions is great, but the angst of the actual process, number 32, number 27, you stay and the rest of you go home, or you've wasted my day, or has anyone looked in the mirror recently? I mean, they told us how it was back then. It was very, very hard. Is it different today, Anthony? Would you say the audition process is different?
Yes and no. I mean, yes, in the sense that there are a lot more. I mean, there's a lot more people coming through the doors today. I mean, there's a lot more agents. There's a lot more drama schools. There's just a lot more people wanting to be actors, performers, singers, dancers. The I was just saying, there's just a lot more kind of interest, I suppose, and that could be down to TV, X Factor, all those kind of Britain's Got Talent kind of programs. It's the same in the sense that you've got very few people in the casting office. You're looking at 2 or 3 people.
Right. Okay.
That's it. You're looking at 2. Yeah. So there's not a room full of 20, assistants, casting directors that can, reply back to emails or to agents or to actors themselves and say thank you for coming in, blah 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 blah. So that hasn't changed. I mean, you do get the odd message from people saying thank you for your time, I'm afraid we're going to go in another direction, that kind of, the kind of terms there. But it's a very small team, and you've got more people coming through the door than you ever have done in the past. So waiting to hear back is the same. Sometimes I'll, because they've got 2 or 3, 4, 5 shows on the go at the same time. These casting directors, they're not just casting one show; they're casting 5, 6, 7.
Right.
So it's
okay. That's interesting.
So you could be doing like Les Miserables 1 minute, and then you could be doing Mean Girls the next day, or it. They've got a whole load of people, producers. There's so much going on in the casting office that no one knows about or no one sees unless you're in that casting office, taking the calls, replying to emails, doing the work. So it's so in that sense, it hasn't changed. You still got the volume of people, the volume of traffic coming your way, and deadlines to meet, and things. So understandably, and being an old ex-performer myself, I would be like, they could easily just call me or email me or just they know if they want me, right? They know if they don't want me, and but it's not, it's not like that. It's there's hundreds, if not thousands, of people submitting work or tapes and stuff. So it's so in that respect,
so it's more competitive. What you're saying, I think
it's more competitive. It's way more competitive. You've got loads of talent coming out of drama schools and dance schools, and again the same old thing, not enough work. Volume of people coming out of these schools, but the work isn't there. So it is a lot more competitive than maybe it was when we were doing it.
We want to know today, we want to know a little bit about Anthony Bristoe himself. So let's take you back in time, get into your little TARDIS. But we're going to take you back to your childhood. So what was it, Anthony, when you were young? What was it that inspired you? And a little bit about your family background as well. And what inspired you to want to work in the field of entertainment as a young boy?
Oh, that's easy. I mean, I suppose it's like my my mum was a nurse, and my dad was a builder, scaffolder. So and all from up north. I mean, they kind of met in Essex, but they were all from up north. So there's no immediate theatrical kind of link there. We had aunts and uncles that were very musical up in the Lake Districts, but none that I know of that kind of necessarily tread the boards. I think how it worked for me and not just me but my brother and my sisters was, my sisters went dance classes at a very young age, and mum threw me and my brother into the mix because it was easier for us all to be together. And when my mum finished work, she knew exactly where all 4 of us was, and she picked us up, and
So just on that point, that's Joe and is it Cara?
Cara, and so,
and then your brother Simon.
So we just fell into it, really. We didn't I don't think we ever aspired to be dancers, but we were in a room full of girls, so we were like, okay, all right. But again, when you're young, you don't really, you're just getting on with wherever your mum sends you.
What a good idea, though. So how old would you be, Anthony?
Oh God, I don't know, 7, 8. Maybe young. But getting into the musical thing, I mean, what kind of instigated or got the ball rolling from my perspective, my memory is my mum and dad went to see Jesus Christ Superstar in the 70s, and one of the first records we pulled out of my mum and dad's record collection was Jesus Christ Superstar, and we started listening to it, me and my sisters and my brother, and fell in love with it, and literally were like, what's this? So we, to this day, we love that musical, and that's our favourite kind of rock opera musical kind of background that got us triggered into listening to more musicals. And obviously every Christmas you get the MGM musicals, and you get all the Singing in the Rains and the or the Wizard of Oz or Oliver's. And so we kind of we got our thirst for musical theatre from listening to that one LP back in the early 80s,
Wow.
and that was it. And that was it. That's kind of what ignited the love for theatre and music.
So your mum Jane, are you saying she's northern like me?
It was from Coventry.
Is she? Okay, yeah.
No one could be as northern as you. I think you've excelled in that area. Out there, but you excelled.
And did you say your dad was from the Lake District?
From the Lake Whitehaven, in the Lake District.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Not far from you, yeah. That's where my dad and all my dad's side of the family are from, and
Wow.
And some aunts and uncles that are still around.
So they're kind of a posh northern. They're not Lancashire. They're the Lake District.
Cathy, I said Whitehaven. I mean, you might find one or two posh people there, but not generally. Can I just say, I love Whitehaven, and I love my family, my cousins. I think you're posh.
But basically, I think I'm posh when I'm here, and then I realise I'm not. But yeah, basically, your mum and your dad sort of inspired you, would you say? And just describe. You've got a brother. Just describe Simon, because obviously that's a unique connection that you both have as well.
Well, me and my brother still love the. Still, we fell in love with, again, music and singing and performing. And my brother is an amazing talent. He's got an incredible singing voice, and he's a great actor. But our passion is still the same. We still love the theatre. We still love the cinema, and
And you're identical twins is what I wanted to lead you on to, which is a
not
unique.
Medically, I don't think.
You're not medically.
No, from a split egg, so we're
okay. It took me a while to work out which one was which. Were there any opportunities as twins that came your way?
Not a few. I mean, not really. I mean, my brother didn't really want to go down the professional route. He didn't really want to go down he's a little bit more introvert than I am. There was we did belong to a couple of agencies when we were younger, that would send us off to the odd commercial, and that were looking for twins, and some commercials that weren't looking for twins. We did a couple of little bits and pieces. We did a Pink Floyd music video back in the early 90s when they wanted twins, to play the character of Syd Barrett in this Shine On You Crazy Diamond.
Wow.
That was when we both had hair. You start off learning your craft at the local dance schools, which we belong to, and the local amateur group, and I'm still in contact, and I with the amateur group that I belonged to in 95 in Southend, Leon C. I still belong with them. I haven't done a show with them in quite a few years, but I still have a connection there, and I still kind of pay my subs, and because I love being included, and I love great. Well, they're a great bunch of people, and that they put on some fantastic shows. Some really good shows. The talent on and off. The on and off, behind the scenes, backstage, the stage management, the crew, the wardrobe, and you're thinking, does amateur shows have all that? They do, and they're such a talented bunch of people. But their passion, and this isn't just the group that I belong to. This is across the country. I mean, the passion and the love that people have for musical theatre and the arts is totally there. It's amazing. It's amazing to see, and it's lovely to support companies that really do it well.
Yes,
that really do it well. That every company has a group of people that just rise to the challenge, and that's the thing. I don't get to perform as much as I'd like to because I work in the theatre in the evening.
Okay.
So I can't do these shows. I mean, I have to take, the last time I did a show, I have to take time off to do it because it's rehearsals are in the evening. They're not in the day, because don't forget, everyone's got day jobs. Everyone's got normal life, normal work environments and families. So, and my jobs, I work in the day, but most of my work is performance showtimes.
But going back to your childhood then, so you were 7 when you started the dance. What was your dance school called?
Dance World.
Dance World.
Dance World in Basildon, which they're now family members that run it, you know.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So it's yeah. So
and what would that be, Anthony? Ballet tap modern? Ballet tap modern?
They do everything. They had drama classes. I mean, I did a bit of modern. I think I attempted tap.
Well, you did it on the ships. You know, you danced very well, absolutely. And
time, Cathy.
I was watching you, and you also, so you started at 7, roughly around about 7. I think I was 9 when I started. I was a little later, but then after you dance and you say you had drama as well. What happened then? Did you start auditioning for local amateur dramatics, and what productions were you in as a little boy?
Oh God.
A little boy.
You're taking me right back.
I'm taking you right back.
I can remember. I could just about remember 5 minutes ago. What, mate? You talked about 40 odd years ago. I'm like, what? Yeah, I mean, I did productions of like Oliver and Calamity Jane at the Towngate Theatre in Basildon, and a lot of dance orientated shows. I just and we belonged to a drama group in Basildon at the Towngate called Towngate Young People's Theatre, where we would do shows and improvisational kind of work. And again, it was just being surrounded when you go into Basildon. I mean, I had a great upbringing, you know, but I went to Basildon where I went to the same school as Alison Moyet and Depeche Mode.
Did you? Can you say what school?
Well, I can, but it was at the time. It's a change. It was St Nicholas School in Leindon.
Okay.
And obviously they're a little bit older than I am, so we're talking about they were there probably 10-15 years before me, but they went to my school, so that was kind of like the local fame. Joan Sims from the Carry On movies.
Oh yes.
She was born and bred in Leindon, Leindon Station. Her dad was the station master in the 20s at Leindon Station, so we've got a lot of talent coming from Essex.
Yeah.
And all over Essex, you know. So I loved going to school in Leindon. I had an amazing group of people that I surrounded myself with. Not everyone was in the performing arts game. I mean, I wasn't even in the performing arts game then. I was just busking it like we all do. But me and my brother loved, and my sister loved, we loved performing. We just loved it. We loved performing and we loved entertaining, and we just, and at that point, I didn't know. I mean, I didn't know if I was good or not. We just did it, You don't, I don't know what age you get to when you suddenly realise, oh, I'm quite good at this. I could do this for a living.
Yes.
I wasn't, when I was at senior school, I wasn't thinking along those lines. I think I knew I wanted to do musicals, but I didn't know if I was good enough. I didn't know what I could and couldn't do. This is how much confidence I had back then. I wish I had it now, but I remember when Michael Jackson's Bad came out. I got 2 girls in my class, backing dancers, and I did a 5-minute routine in front of assembly, in front of the.
Did you?
Oh God, yeah. I look back now and think, what a loser! What did you do?
That is amazing. And how was that accepted? What were you like a little star?
I'm pretty sure that everyone loved it. I mean, we got regular.
Are you still getting letters?
I'm still getting letters.
Fan letters.
I think that was the first criminal record. Yeah. Oh my God. I mean, but I remember talking about Blue House Junior School. Me and my brother, we loved Jesus Christ Superstar, the movie, so much. We did a 20-minute reenactment of the show, me and my brother, in front of the school assembly. Why did we do it? Did we get asked to do it? No, I think we said, can we do this, miss?
Was this halfway through maths?
Madness. This was through my madness stage. Oh my God, it's like I look back now and think, God, what on earth did you subject your fellow classmates to?
No, I bet they loved it. I bet they loved it, and that was what I was going to
come
on
a strong word.
Oh, I bet they did. So what were the subjects at high school then? So primary school, did you enjoy primary school with the productions then? Obviously you were 7 when you started dance.
No, in primary school, no, we didn't
do much there.
No time for performance and stuff like that. Secondary school, it was all about, just, English, history, geography.
What were the subjects that you enjoyed as well as entertainment?
I loved drama because you could just dick about and have a laugh, and that's how I saw it. That was an hour of just fooling around,
fun,
making people laugh, and just not taking life seriously. I mean, who doesn't want that? I mean, even even my friends that weren't actors and singers and performers loved drama. Everyone loved drama because it was a DOS. Right? let's be honest with you. It was an hour of DOS, and it was an hour just to muck about and maybe do an improvisation, maybe sing a song, and maybe do whatever. But it was a great lesson. I love that. I always love that because again, I took it seriously. I mean, I didn't dick about. Much.
And you did well. I would assume you did well.
Oh, I got an A. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
The only thing.
And what about art or any of the other subjects? Because I enjoyed art and sports.
Useless at art. I couldn't. I'm left-handed, so I'm cat-handed. I would have been burnt 100 years ago. I mean, I can't. Seriously, I would.
That's very dramatic. I'm left-handed.
That's why I got an A for drama. Do you know what I mean? You're very dramatic, Anthony. I got an A for drama. Thank you for noticing.
With this hand.
Yeah. This hand here is a witch hand.
Like, I've got ME and you're saying I would have been burnt. I'm left-handed.
True story. What were you asking me? Because I've just forgotten.
I was asking you in your high school what other subjects that you enjoyed. Did you enjoy sport? Were you quite sporty?
I loved swimming.
Okay.
I got into. I was always in my year. I was the strongest backstroke swimmer. So I would always be entered for backstroke swimming competitions. Didn't win any. I think I might have won one or two.
Maybe you didn't know you'd won because you were facing the wrong way. That might be it.
Do you know what? I did end up in Calais once. I thought this competition's going on a bit. I thought the cheering had died down. But I was just...
You were still going. I don't know where I am. You just had a poor sense of direction and a dominant left arm.
I was swimming all the way at Calais thinking, I could have done that routine a lot better than that. I was just thinking of going over the steps in my head. Yeah.
Oh gosh! So you were a good swimmer. Anything else? What else did you enjoy? Any other subjects?
No, I loved history. I loved history because I loved anything about the Tudors. I loved anything about Romans, and I loved all of that kind of stuff. Science, maths.
Yeah, you like me.
English, I enjoyed English. I just I remember it was my idea once in English. I came up with an idea. Said, wouldn't it be, we were doing loads of reading books and
Wow.
And we all wrote a letter, and my friend had the best letter that was sent, and we didn't think we'd get a response. We got a response. Roald Dahl sent us back. I don't know how long it took, but he sent us back a response, and it was all in verse. And I think I've got a photocopy of it somewhere. But yeah, I was like, that was cool. Roald Dahl.
So what an entrepreneurial idea that you had. And
I didn't make any money from it, darling. So
yeah, but you were still backstroking when he took his award. But so that was your concept. That's brilliant, Anthony.
Well, I thought that's a good. Why not? Why not ring? Not ring. Why not send a letter to Rod?
Yeah.
I thought that was good. And we did. We sent a letter and we got a reply. And I was like,
what, do you remember what he said? Thank you for the idea.
No, it didn't say thank you for the idea. He just said, I think it started out. I can't remember much, but he just said to all the clever children in class 1D. And then I can't remember the rest.
Oh, isn't that nice?
Well, expect me to remember the letter that he wrote from
well, that should be imprinted. That's amazing. And that was all your idea. So I bet, did the teacher sort of feel like grateful that you'd come up with that?
No idea how the teachers felt at that time.
Yeah.
I mean, they probably thought, oh, that's a nice idea. We did it. And then I don't know what they thought.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
No, I'm kind of glad that they took it seriously. I'm kind of glad that sent a letter and got a reply. I thought that was great.
Because that's a bit of what I'm coming to, because your essence is your you can, like I said about PR skills on the cruise ship, you can walk up to anybody, shake the hand. I have that character as well, but not everybody does. You know,
I don't really like walking up to many
randomers. That's just
I don't want people thinking, oh, he's a nice guy, but he's a bit strange. He'll chat to anyone.
I made friends in the cinema once in the dark to a girl, and we became really
in the back row. I think they were busy, Cathy. I think they were trying to give you the hint. They really weren't interested in conversation.
But no, I mean, you have that. What I mean is, you've got far exceeds mine. You've got a very personable character, and you know, people are drawn to that. You always have a big smile everywhere you go, and that's what I'm leading on to, that you had that strength and confidence, that it's not just the talent in this industry, it's also the confidence. And there's a fine line between confidence and arrogance, and you don't have any arrogance at all. And that's what I love about my friends. They're very self-deprecating, but actually very, very talented, and you are extremely talented. And
how much am I paying for this? We didn't come up with a fee, did we? All of a sudden I'm sitting here thinking, how much did we agree on? Because this is
but it's so true,
way above and beyond.
It's so true, though. You really do have a gift, and you've got the gift of the gab, which is also taking you into these other directions. As you say, you've got your finger in a lot of pies in the West End, where you've looked after some very, high celebrities, and you're often asked to come and do different jobs because of your very, very personable character. You really do have that natural flair, which not everybody has. So tell us a little bit about that. So first of all, let's keep back in. So what would you be, 15, 16, and then you started to step into the world of theatre? Did you audition for drama school, or what happened next, Anthony?
No. So that was a little bit of a sad situation for me. Sorry, that was an email just come in. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Ignore the emails. Go away, Deliveroo.
You see, you're that popular.
Deliveroo. Do you know what I mean? Too early for that. No, it was. Yeah, so we left school around 16. Me and my brother auditioned for quite a few bits and pieces, did a few bits of small TV work and stuff like that. Nothing groundbreaking. And then we went to college in Southend. We did a BTEC national diploma.
Okay.
Which proved very useful in my future career. No, it was a couple of years in Southend. Again, we met some great people on the course. We were lucky to meet some wonderful people, and some of those people are still dear friends to this day.
Yeah.
And some of my friends from school, I'm still dear friends to this day. I'm quite blessed with that. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's the way life turns out. You don't see an awful lot of these people, but social media kind of brings you together, and they're still in my life, which I'm very happy about. I really wish I had auditioned for drama school. It never became a thing.
Okay.
And it wasn't for the fact that I didn't want to audition. That was totally the route I wanted to go down. I wanted to audition for a prestigious West End musical theatre school, drama. because I wanted the discipline. I needed the discipline. I needed the education. I needed the, but we as a family couldn't afford that kind of. We couldn't afford it. Couldn't afford it. And I think the year that we would have auditioned was the last year that the local Essex Council was giving out grants, and there was me and my brother. There was two of us, so we didn't even audition for because it was just like, no, you're not going. We can't afford it. So we never went down the drama school route. So I literally just went down the audition route, started to audition for whatever, and I just blagged it basically. So I worked for Next in the menswear. Oh no, first job was, we laughing at?
No, I'm not laughing. I remember. Okay. I think I remember. I remember you wearing Next clothes and thinking, "Oh my gosh, that's a really posh brand." Because don't forget, I'm from Lancashire, so we were. What did we have? C&A.
I got a job in Alders in Basildon on the menswear department. That was a Saturday job, I think. And then over the road was Next. So then I stepped up in the world and got a job at Next. I worked for Next on and off for, I don't know, 3 years, I think. I worked in Basildon. I worked in Lakeside in Next. And I worked in Fenchurch Street in Next in 1995. Wow. 96. Then I auditioned for the cruise ships, did a couple of contracts.
So that was your first professional job, is that right? As in, oh no, you'd done stuff as a child.
It was the first professional job out of college. Yeah, I did a few TV little bits and pieces, but that was the first kind of professional.
But that's fantastic, because it was very hard to get on. We often, when we get the jobs, when we're self-deprecating types, we often sort of underplay ourselves, but actually it was very tough to get on to that position. You had to have multiple skill sets. You had to be able to do a daytime activities as well as the evening shows. It was very challenging, but for me, one of the most fun positions that I've ever had in my career, and I think the same for you as well. We had such a good time, didn't we? So tell us about the audition process, because I joined the ship later. I actually joined and met you, I think, in Parma, whereas you actually, I was replacing a dancer who was poorly, and so I had to switch and learn the shows in 3 days, I think I had. But you had already joined and you'd done the audition process in Brighton, is that right?
That's right, yeah, which was about a 3-week audition process.
Was it? So tell us about that, Anthony.
Well, it was a training course. We auditioned in London. And there was obviously, they were making cuts left, right, and centre. Auditioned in London, got accepted onto the training course. A lot of people at the time thought they'd got a job.
So it was still an audition.
Still an audition process, and
right.
There was people that I think had moved down. I think one lady, she moved out of her house to move to rent in Brighton just for the training, and then she got cut halfway through. So it was for some people, they weren't completely. I think they automatically thought that audition done. We were in rehearsals now, and it's like it was a bit
right.
Yeah. So it was but that was it. It was hard work. It was hard work. We got on the cruise ships. We went out, and the first 3 months of the cruises was quite hard, because you're still learning the shows. You're still learning. So when you fly out, the entertainment crew team, the performers, are flying back. So when you go out there, you're on that night, because there's no entertainment team. You're the entertainment team. So we were all doing the shows that we'd already rehearsed, and there still needed rehearsals. And literally for a good 2 or 3 months, it was literally daily rehearsing every show, every musical show, every kind of dance numbers. It was full on. And then once you started to get a day off in, whether it was Rome or Monte Carlo or wherever, it started to become okay. This is it now. The work is paying off, because you're having days off, but no, I loved it. I loved the people. I loved the traveling. I loved meeting people, especially the people that we worked with. No, I thoroughly had a great time, and I look back on those days, and I miss it. I miss the cruise life. I didn't love it enough to want to keep doing it. I think I did 3 contracts. that was it. I saw, I wanted to do West End theatre. I wanted to be in the West End. That's where my heart was, yeah. So yeah.
But would you say, for anybody starting out, Anthony, so looking back, which is why I wanted to go back to your childhood as well, would you say that what advice would you give to anybody that's in your shoes as a little 7-year-old boy that's been taken to dance classes and doesn't quite know why he's there because his big sisters are in the next room? But what would you say to them to influence and encourage them, and also anybody that's auditioning, in this process of entertainment? What gift would you offer them on reflection?
I'd say stay the course. If you've got a love and a passion for it, absolutely stay the course. Do the work. Go to those dance classes. Go to those singing lessons, and go to drama school. Go to dance school. I never went down that route, and I wish I had. I think that was one thing that. The weird thing is, I think that's one thing that stopped me from moving forward in my professional career, because I didn't really have that training. I wanted the training because
yes,
I do the showcase. I needed the agent. I needed the things that come with the 2 or 3 of training. I needed all that. But that's not to say that none of us. I mean, I know plenty of people that have got work without going down the drama school route, and done very well. I personally would say do that route.
Yeah.
Because you're only going to meet the people that you need to meet. But the funny thing is, it's like, even though, I had an agent, a couple of agents, some of them were great, some of them, but the funny thing is, I know enough people in this industry now. I could probably ask for an audition, and they politely would give me an audition, and without an agent. But back then you needed an agent. You needed to get in the room. You needed, and not everyone has that knowledge and all that, but I've just stay the course. And it is brutal. It is tough. I know many people that are still deliberating, at my age, if they still love the industry enough to want to do it. It is a job. You do 3 months, 6 months, a year in a contract. People do get complacent. But the majority of people that are in the industry love it. And they're there for a reason, because they love it and they're good at it. Don't fall at the first hurdle, which so many people do. You are going to get rejected. You are going to get knockbacks. That has no reflection at all on your talent. It really doesn't. I mean, I've been in a room before, or I've worked on shows before, where people have got to the finals, they haven't been right, or they didn't get the job, but they will get called back for another show that the casting team are casting. Oh, remember so and so? I think they're right for that. So even if you don't get a job and you think, oh, they don't like me, it's not that at all. They've literally got margins of people that they are literally trying to fit. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. And if you're not right for that year, say, for example, of Les Mis, or, Phantom, or, whatever, it doesn't mean you're not right for it the following year.
That's good for people to hear. That's really good.
And that is so true. I've worked on a few shows before where people have been cut and then they've been reinvited back a few weeks later because a decision was made and it was like, actually, let's bring so-and-so back. It happens all the time. Don't rule anything out. Just stay the course.
Yeah.
And try not to. It's easier said than done. It really is easier said than done. But try not to. I don't know. Beat yourself up if you
don't take it personally.
No, because it's not personal. It really is not personal.
Yeah.
Not. They've got.
And what when you were doing your auditions, are there any striking moments, any interesting stories within your audition process yourself that you can reflect on?
Not really interesting. Just no, not really. Not just.
Would you dance first or sing? You go on.
I hated auditioning.
You hated auditioning?
I hated auditioning. I don't think I know many performers that enjoy it. It's a different vibe and a different feeling. Going into a room, it could be 2 people behind the table. It could be 15 people behind the table. And you're standing there and you're about to sing a song. The nerves get to you. Your voice dries up. It doesn't matter how good you think you are or you are. Your voice dries up. You get the uncontrollable shakes. It all happens, and it doesn't matter how many shows you've done, how talented you are. The nerves get to you, And it depends on what show. Sometimes you could go in for a show and you're the most amazing singer, the most awful dancer, but you can bet your bottom dollar you're in the dance call first. And you're like, but I'm a singer, can't I sing first? There's a process that they have to eliminate people, they have to cut people. So a lot of the shows, they do a dance call first. And if you make the cut, you get through, then they'll invite you back to sing. And then, So getting back to what I said before, and it's the same old thing. If you're going to be in this industry or take it seriously, you've got to be a triple threat.
Yes.
You've got to be a triple threat. And that doesn't mean you have to excel. You don't have to be the most amazing vocalist. You don't have to be the most stunning dancer. But it helps if you can tick every single box.
Okay, so your advice would be
you have to
train as a little child as well. So your thoughts are, if your mum says go, especially for boys, because obviously boys have a different, view sometimes. When I ran my theatre school, it was predominantly boys at one point, which was fantastic because it was drama, but often dance is considered for girls. But today I think it's a bit different, which is great.
It is different, and it is different for many reasons. And it's a great outlet. Now you don't have to go to dance classes or a singing lesson or a drama club or a drama school because that's what you want to be when you're 20, 25, 20, It's a great outlet for young kids to express themselves.
Absolutely.
Be a part of a community, be a part of like-minded individuals where you could be. The confidence that comes from a child going to dance classes, doesn't matter how good or not you are, going to a drama club. I got all my confidence by meeting like-minded people. And I was never a great dancer. I mean, I could move, but I was never, I wouldn't class myself as a great dancer. I was a singer, I was a performer, I was an actor. Mostly, the singing was my main thing. And I just, turned up and moved a little bit. But I loved the camaraderie, so but even just for confidence, just send your child to a dance club or and if they like it, if they don't like it, then obviously don't send them there. It's like my dad sent me and my brother to boxing once. We're like that no, we went once. He sent us to judo as well. We went once. Sent us to football as well. We went maybe 2 or 3 times. We were never. You got the bench where they're picking out.
Were you doing like hat tips?
I just wanted to do star jumps. Every time I was on the football pitch, I was just a side story was coming in the brain. I was just wanting
double pirouette. I'll save the ball. But so that's great. So what you're saying is to encourage anybody listening who wants to who's got a child that wants to be in the industry or is that person.
You know what? Even if they don't want to be in the industry, I just think if you've got a child that's struggling with communication skills or some kind of it's not even communication skills. Some children are quiet. There's nothing wrong with them. They're just quiet, timid, shy. Send them to a drama club or send them to any club where they can they can come out of themselves. It's only a good thing. And if if they happen to love dancing or tap or acting classes, there's so many people that fall into an industry. I've had it many times with actors. It's what got you into this? Who's it? I can't remember. Oh, Stephen Graham, great actor. He ended up turning. He was never an actor. He never intended to be an actor. He's a superb actor. But he turned up to a friend's audition just for support. And the director was like, do you act? No. Actually, read this. He went along to a friend's audition.
Wow.
And he was asked to audition for the part himself and got the job. So some people just fall into things, like every single job I do, I fall into it. I don't, I've been a butler, I've been a host, I've done a lot of VIP work. I've done a lot of the jobs I do now. I kind of just fall into it. They're not jobs I went out to seek. Performing.
So what type of jobs and who have you looked after? Because that's really interesting. I think that's quite exciting. Tell us a little bit about, going back a little bit, tell us a little bit about the people that you've looked after and what your position was.
Oh, so when I was actively auditioning for musicals and shows, like many people in theatre and the arts would have a day job or an evening job.
Yeah, all of us, yeah.
We would do, waiters or bar staff. I was working for the Stolmos Theatres in the 90s, stroke really useful theatre group, which Andrew Lloyd Webber's company took over. And I was one of the in-house redcoat butlers I was based at the London Palladium and then the Theatre All Drury Lane. But there'd be a group of 10 of us, I think, throughout the whole group. And they owned 13 theatres at the time. And we'd go from one theatre to the next, doing all the VIP functions, all the opening night parties, the Raw galas, and things like that. So, I would look after the producers, their guests, the paid VIPs, the celebrities. And I loved it. I was going from theatre to theatre to theatre, looking after loads of guests, making what I would like to think their evening, whether the show was good or not. The VIP kind of butler service was an added extra, and I loved it. I thoroughly enjoyed going from theatre because I loved the architecture in some of these buildings that are in London. I loved walking into the Palace Theatre, on Shaftesbury Avenue. I loved walking into the Palladium. I loved walking into the Theatre All Drury Lane. And I was lucky enough to be based in these venues for years.
Wow.
And I would have history of said shows or past productions or history about the buildings, and that would be included in my spiel when I meet and look after guests. So over the years, I've met and looked after many people, a lot of people, a lot of interesting people, some great stories that I've kind of got. It's too long to go into now, but I looked after Andrew Lloyd Webber many times because obviously he was my boss, so I looked after Andrew for a good few years as one of his butlers at the theatre. So I would look after him when he came to the press nights or the opening nights. So Cameron Mackintosh, Gillian Lynn, Quincy Jones, you name it, Dustin Hoffman, Johnny Depp, Michael Jackson. I looked after 3 months before he passed away. Janet Jackson, and obviously it's not just the theatre, but I run the VIP lounge at Winter Wonderland. So over the last 12 years, the Hyde Park Christmas extravaganza. So you get to look after a lot of people that that come and go.
Well, we have seen you in articles where you're opening the door for Brad Pitt, is it, and other people, or Angelina Jolie, offering a sausage, I think, to somebody, or it looked like you were offering or one of them was giving you a burger and a bun or something.
No, that was David Beckham. He was eating a hot dog, and and I had a napkin and was. David, you've missed a bit.
And that was your job. And so what happens when you I know it wasn't. What happens when you're VIPing for these people? Are you taking them into Winter Wonder? Are you looking after them all through the day?
Yeah, so it's basically I liaise a lot with their security teams. They say when so and so's coming up, I would meet them and greet them and look after them. Into Wonderland, would give them hospitality, would give them their tickets, basically. So whenever they turn up, whether it's Winter Wonderland or the theatre, or you're assigned to look after them and make sure they get in and out without any kind of major issues. So that's kind of one job that I do, and then.
But that's very trusting. What I wanted to say was, again, that's an incredibly trusted position. You don't get those types of positions, Anthony, unless you've got not just the camaraderie and the wherewithal and the confidence and the empathy. People obviously, particularly Lloyd Webber and Sir Mackintosh, etc. They're all obviously wanting your hospitality because you obviously, ooze that ability and character, which is a credit.
Thank you, but there's a lot of excellent people that work in the industry that are everyone's capable of looking after people, and I'm down.
Well, you say that, but you have a special gift. I know you have, and I've seen you at work as well. And I think you really do. I think you attract people to you. That's why you've got, such a wealth of friends, etc. As you say, right from childhood that have sustained those friendships. You're a friend for life. You really are. You're somebody that you meet. You can only meet them once, even if somebody met you once.
That sounds like you're calling me an old bag.
You're somebody
you're a friend for life. You're a bag for life.
No, not at all. You're a magnet. So somebody may only meet you once, but they are inspired by you because you are so, you're so jovial, you're so complimentary, you're so giving. What I was going to ask you was on the counter side, is there anything that you'd like to share on the flip side? Have you come across as exuberant and confident? Have you ever had any self-doubts or anything?
All the time.
Really? Yeah.
Completely. Yeah. I mean, nothing's. I might work in this industry where it looks and sounds fantastic, and it can be.
Yeah.
But it's hard and it's brutal and I mean, I've had rejection, which is one of the reasons why I don't audition and perform anymore, because I got close. I did a few jobs. I got close and not close enough. And it got to the stage where I was like, do you know what? I'm done. So so I got tired with the industry. I got tired with the audition process, and so completely. And I've had self-doubt. I mean, I've gone to auditions when I've buggered it up, or I haven't been quite as good as I kind of hoped. Or every performer has it, and every artist has it. Every designer has it. I mean, you name it. We've all got self-doubts. We've all got self-conflict going on. So if you don't, then you're subhuman, and if you don't have anything like that. So I mean, of course I have. That's why I do 101 jobs, because I'm still trying to figure out what I want to be when I grow up. I'm 50 next year and I still haven't got a clue what I want to do. So I've got all these little sideline jobs. I work for the Royal Household as well as a casual footman. So, and that's a job I got through the back of working for Andrew Lloyd Webber and the Really Useful Company.
Wow. And what do you do there, Anthony? That sounds good. Tell us a bit more about that.
Well, no, I got the job for working in the theatre, looking after the head of state, the royal dignitaries. Literally, I could be doing a state banquet 1 minute and a champagne canapé reception the next, a lunch, a wedding, funeral. So I'm one of a pool of people that will get an email or a contact saying, are you available to help with this function or this function? So amongst all the other jobs that I do, especially my evening job, I will try and fit in. I can't do everything, so I will try and fit in the jobs where I can. And again, it's fascinating stuff. It's great to be a fly in the wall for this estate, the Windsor Castle, Buckingham Palace, and it's a lovely job to have, and I don't do an awful lot of hospitality based work anymore because of the theatre that I'm doing the backstage, but I do try and keep in with certain jobs because it's kind of what I'm good at, and I do the Christmas events, and I do the Royal Household and the Olivier Awards, and help out where I'm where I'm needed. I'll get asked to help out and do.
And what's some of your favourite musicals? Because I know you were quite big into Miss Saigon at one point. That was one of your my favourite musicals. That is.
Well, Miss Saigon. I mean, I worked on Miss Saigon in the late 90s, 3 years before it closed. So, and then this last recent revival production in 2014, I worked on that production as well. It's got a special place in my heart, that show. But Les Mis. When I first heard Les Mis in 1988, I was like, what? It came out in 1985, but it didn't come to my ears until like 88. I was like, what is this? Les Miserables, Jesus Christ Superstar, Evita, Phantom. But those kind of musicals that I kind of grew up listening to, I adored and still do to this day. But like many of us, I mean, MGM musicals, West Side Story, Calamity Jane, Singing in the Rain. It's like Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. They're the musicals that I to this day, I was lucky enough over the years to meet, as I said, a few people, but I was lucky enough to meet some amazing Hollywood legends. And I remember there was a concert, it was a Sunday concert at the Palladium, I want to say 15 years ago now. It was Fred Astaire, his daughter's tribute. Ava Astaire was doing a tribute to her father, where she'd interview his actors, ex-colleagues, on stage at the London Palladium, and I would look after this group of well-established people and take them to and from the stage. They were all, elderly at this point. But I remember being in the room with Robert Wagner, Jill St. John, Ann Miller, Sid Charisse, Jane Powell, who's Million, Seven Brides. I loved it. I loved it. It's in my head. And I remember there was an after-show party, and at the end of the party, I was coming down in my uniform in the Royal Staircase at the London Palladium, and I had Sid Charisse on one arm, Ann Miller on the other, and the director on the end, and we were escorting them out of the theatre to their taxis to take them back to their hotel. And Ann Miller turned around and said, "Oh my God, this takes me back." And she starts doing a kick line down the stairs of "Stepping out with my baby, stepping out." And all four of us were doing a kick line down the Palladium staircase. And this was before iPhones and God knows what. And I was thinking, okay, this is.
I've made it.
I'm literally doing a kick line with Sid Charisse and Ann Miller right now.
Wow.
I loved it. And there was a time.
So you've had some magic moments like that.
Loved it.
And that's what I was going to say. Theatre isn't just on the front performing. That's hard work. It is very hard work, very, very rewarding, but it's also very hard work. And backstage as well, it takes the whole crew. So you've basically you've been part of the audition process, you've been part of the auditioning yourself, you've been part of the potential casting process, which is bringing people through and looking after them and guiding them through, looking after them there. You've looked after the people at the top, as I say, Lloyd Webber and Cameron McIntosh. You've actually looked after the establishment, and that's why I said at the beginning, you are the heart and soul of London's West End. And I believe there was a review about you, you may not recall it, but there was a review about you, and you were actually mentioned when it was talking about the West End. And that in itself just says, how valued you are, because it's a community. It's something that we lost in the lockdown process that we want to continue to get back. And what I love about you is when we chatted in the lockdown time, you were the only person who was concerned that the toilets need flushing in these West End theatres in order to keep them sustained. And I thought that was such a passion for the building and sustaining.
Hang on. Let me correct you there. I wasn't concerned. That's not my job. It was someone else's job. But I told you, they have to, obviously, Lyme disease and stuff like that. They have to regularly. These theatres needed a kind of a core staff that would operate and look after these theatres during the dark period. I mean, I wasn't concerned about
No, I'm joking, Anthony. What I'm saying is that you brought that to my attention, and it's not something that anybody perhaps would think of. And I thought it was very valuable that your passion for those actual buildings. That's what I'm saying about heart and soul.
It was a difficult time for everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone, but especially people in our industry, any industry got hit, and even people that the essential workers. But our industry was knocked we were down and out for like 16, 17 months. None of us worked, and none of us had money to pay rent. Some of us did, so we got furloughed for like 4 months out of that 16 months. That was it. And then a lot of people had to try and find work, delivery, Amazon drivers and whatnot. People had mortgages, people couldn't pay rent. I mean, it was awful, but there was no one could step inside a theatre or a cinema, or a rock concert. It was a tough time. So it was a tough one for the industry, and we came crawling back on our knees, and certain venues are still crawling back on their knees. There are obviously is flourishing now.
Is it back? Is it back to where it was?
I mean, I would say to a certain extent, yes, because some of the theatres, some of the shows are selling out and still making money. some of the shows aren't selling out and have closed. And it depends. I'm not a big guru on the sales and ticketing of said shows. Why a show works, why a show doesn't work.
Yeah.
After COVID, all people wanted to do was get back into the theatre. A few people lost money because we weren't getting paid the same when we went back to the theatre. We had to take a hit. It's kind of come back now in certain venues, and certain venues are still struggling to. I think it's I mean, you walk into London on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. It's pumping. It's busy. It's
Good.
So it depends on what area. You could be in a lot of people are still working from home. So there are local businesses that are probably struggling because they don't have their clientele Friday lunchtime on. It's a knock-on effect in so many different aspects.
But we entertainers, and I've spoken with other people about this as well, that entertainers were amongst the hardest hit. As Rishi said, entertainers are going to have to retrain and find other jobs. So did you find...
Sorry, Rishi? Who's Rishi?
That's
showbiz. Bye-bye, Felicia. Sorry. There's a positive to come out of every situation, isn't there?
He'll be doing his step kicks on his own down those Palladium stairs.
Rishi is retraining to be a ballet dancer. Good luck, Rishi.
So, but coming now full circle to you, Anthony.
That was quite pitchy. I'm so sorry.
It's fun, and no, the main thing is coming back full circle. So you're back. Which theatre are you at the moment? Can you share?
I'm currently working at the Novello Theatre on Mamma Mia at the moment.
Oh, you're on Mamma Mia. Okay.
Yes, at the moment on that Greek island.
Doing the backstroke.
Working on that backstroke. No, do you know what? I love. It doesn't matter what show I'm working on. I love it. I love the camaraderie. I love the people. I love. There's a lot of good things to take away from whatever job that you do. And again, it doesn't matter if my career as a performer doesn't exist anymore, but I still find a positive to find something joyful about working on a production and being included in a production, whether it's Mamma Mia, whether it's Miss Saigon, or whether it's
if an opportunity came forward to you, would you take that opportunity, do you think? Who knows what can come of things
as a performer?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Never say never.
No, never say never. Never say never.
Because your talent is still there. I've heard you sing, and even in the lockdown time, you were where you are now, and you were singing songs and entertaining people. So that is the essence of Anthony Bristoe. You are a non-stop, continuous showbiz entertainer, and you have that sort of ability that even in the darkest of times and moments, you continue to shine and you help and support others, which is such a credit to who you are and the essence of who you are. But what you're saying is you struggled as we all did in this lockdown time, but things are now starting to pick back up a little bit, and the industry is better than it was certainly a few years ago.
Yeah, I mean to some extent, very lovely words you've just said. I appreciate that. Thank you. Life it's tough for everyone. Everyone's going through their own turmoil. Everyone's going through something. Without going into detail, life happens. Whether it's health with family members, whether it's the loss of a loved one, whether it's a loss of a job, the balance shifts. And sometimes it doesn't matter how hard it is to adapt to a new situation. We only get by as individuals and people because we rely on the people around us to support and back us up. And even during COVID times, I lived in this loft that I live in Queen's Park on my own, isolated. So my outlook was this, like it was for many people. to sing a song, to have a FaceTime, to have a chat, to have comedy quizzes and stuff. The only takeaway I can say from anything is you know, it doesn't matter if you're, you know, auditioning to be a performer, whether you're not, you know, you want to be the next fabulous butcher or the next amazing hairdresser. Knockbacks are essential in the sense to make someone build.
Yeah.
You know, we don't like it, but, you know, it builds character. And we rely, I mean, God knows, I mean, looking at our friend, lovely Donna. When I look at Donna Ashworth and with her words, and, you know, a friend of ours from the cruise ship days, with her, she's inspiring. She's inspired, I would say, millions of people, millions around the world.
Definitely.
With her words. And I rely on people like that, and people like you, Cathy, and people like that put, you know, that put a smile on people's faces. And in the darkest of times, we rely on just a spoonful of sugar. No, just a spoonful of positiveness. That's it. It's just, you know, and don't get me wrong, I haven't been positive all the time. I'm not positive. I've had some knockbacks, especially this year. Didn't start off the way I wanted it to, work-wise. And it is hard. But you have to rebuild, and you have to you have to find the positive in any situation. I mean, that's kind of, you know, oh my God, that got deep, didn't it?
No, but that's good. That's good, because what would you say to somebody who is in that time of struggle? Because a lot of people are still struggling because of what's just happened globally, and they haven't got perhaps your confidence or ability to get back up. What would you say to them, Anthony?
They are loved.
Yeah.
They are loved, first and foremost. And they just need to realize that they're loved. There are people around them now that would do anything, drop anything for them. They need to pick up the phone. They need to talk more. They need to just be a little bit more. They need just to open up, reach out.
Yeah.
Don't give up. I mean, I was listening to, actually, well, I listened to a story the other day. Something on there was a message on social media. As a friend of mine, and it was like a memory that came up. And she said, 4 years ago, I didn't want to be here. I wanted to leave this place.
Oh.
And then I'm looking back at this memory, and I'm so glad that I decided to live and stay.
Yeah.
And I couldn't be happier in where I am now. People go through all of these times, throughout their times. Some people shake it off, some people don't. It does get better.
Yeah.
It does get better.
Yeah.
Because but surround yourself with good people, loving people. Get rid of the toxic people, the time wasters. Push people away if you have to. That's what people need to do. Try and believe in themselves a little bit, but if not a lot. But just, life is better, and there are so many wonderful things out there. And, you know, and you just talk.
Yeah, that's
Don't
very
shut yourself away.
That's very valuable, Anthony. And I think, you know, your words will inspire so many people today that are listening to this, because for us, life is a cabaret, but there's always another side. There's always another side. What goes up must come down. And life isn't always full of excitement. It is, you know, and especially with people like us, we're quite adrenaline searchers. So we're always looking for the highs and the excitement in life. And therefore, you know.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, you're all right. I'm just saying that for anybody that's
right.
listening to this today, I think what you've just said is extremely valuable. And I think what lockdown has shown all of us is that we are a community, and that is how things were years and years ago. It wasn't like this. We're getting into a technical world now, and what we need to do is bring back community and the links, and make sure, as you quite rightly said, make sure that the links that you have in the chain of your friendships are unbreakable links, rather than, as you quite rightly said, rather than anybody or anything, situation, job or circumstance that's bringing toxicity. Gently remove that and bring and direct positive energy towards you and positive people. And I think that you can almost overcome anything if you do that.
You can, and just staying humble.
Yeah.
Staying humble and just be self-aware, but have humility towards others.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to you now thinking, surely, why am I saying this? Because it's a given. Surely everyone's got humility, right? Surely everyone's got understanding of, it's like, it's that saying, it's like, treat everyone as though you expect to be treated, and it's like, that's a given.
Yeah.
People forget that, and I don't get that.
Yeah.
But staying humble, being, and just looking out for each other. And
Absolutely.
there was something that, I don't know where I read it, but it was, if you see someone struggling, pick them up.
Yeah.
Include them. Don't leave them on their own. Include them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And none more so. I mean, this has been a time, as I say, these last few years for everybody really to be able to see that importance. So I think in conclusion today, Anthony, it's been an absolute pleasure to speak with you and hear about your career, which started at age 7. You then
career. There's no career. It's just
there is a big career. You have had a colourful career of the world of theatre. Like I say, you've done so many components that bring together. The musical does not go on without all of this hybrid of components and people like you behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, and looking after the very big wigs of London's West End, who, as I say, the heart and soul. It wouldn't work without you. So you are irreplaceable.
Can I just say, bless you. But again, you've hit the nail on the head. It isn't about the actors on stage or the musicians. It's about every facet, every department. We're talking about wigs, wardrobe, front of house, theatre management, bar staff. Especially in this day and age, the front of house deal with a lot of unwanted rubbish, and they're the unsung heroes.
Yeah.
I'll have you know. They are, they don't get paid enough. That's another story, but
So there's a lot of components that go towards putting on this spectacular musical. So when people come and pay their money and sit in a seat, I think what you have done today is shown the colours, all the different colours of the world of theatre, from behind the scenes to actually physically getting into the seat. And even I touched on the toilet flushing circumstance, that if that hadn't been done by that man from wherever he was from, who had to come in each day and flush those toilets, then we would not actually have the standing buildings that we have today. So every single component, the jigsaw pieces, as you talked about earlier, all coming together, all working as one, symbiotically. And that is what we also want as our friendships and our community as well. I think we need to bring everybody together from all different backgrounds and make sure that we never have to go through what we have all gone through again. I think that's a fair comment. Would you agree with that?
I absolutely would. Yes, definitely.
So bring your community closer, hold on to those links, and how can people get hold of you, Anthony, should anybody want to contact you and grab you for anything? Because I haven't even touched upon the picture behind, because I do need to conclude by saying, have you walked up that place, the photograph behind your head at the moment? Just tell us about that. I forgot to mention that.
7 years ago. Yeah. So that was on the way to Everest Base Camp. So yes, 7 years ago, me and a group of friends, for various different charities, did a Everest Base Camp trek, and it was the most difficult, hardest thing I think I've ever done, but also the most rewarding thing I think I've ever done. Pushing yourself literally to the limits. Yeah, it was fantastic. I mean, what a country! What a country! Yeah. So not actually, I've seen the film Everest. I'm not that daft. I'm not interested in climbing it, but base camp was as much as I would want to have done within my limits. But
that's fantastic. That's
that was,
fantastic. Some people can't even do that. I don't think I could. I think that's absolutely amazing. Was it freezing cold? Have you still got all your toes?
No, I've still got all my toes. There was we went in May, so that's kind of like the best. April, May time is kind of the best allocated time that people kind of decide to go. But you get hit with all sorts of weather. Like one day you're roasting because it's summertime. 30 minutes later you're in a snow blizzard, or
Wow.
or torrential rain. So you dress for all weather, and we got all weather. You know, it's yeah, it was hard work, but it was some breathtaking. I've got some breathtaking pictures and memories from that trip.
Fantastic. And how many days was it then? How many days?
It was 16 days, 16 days in total. That's there and back. So I think
Wow, 16. I was thinking a week. So 16 days. Wow.
yeah, so I think it took about 8 days to get there. And that's like including a couple of days of acclimatization, because you have to acclimatize before, because you're already flying into you know, the death zone, if you like, not the death zone, but you know,
Wow.
you're already flying into, you know, that kind of you know, terrain, and then you have to acclimatize, because there was a couple of people on our trip that had to be you know, flown back down because they couldn't continue. And even when we were there, there was a few deaths just on the way there because of
What, just from doing the base camp that you did?
Yeah, yeah,
really?
yeah. If you start getting headaches, or your oxygen is low, you need to back down.
Damn.
Yeah. But the funny thing is, I went on the way there. I was sat next to this 72-year-old. She's 72. She was a 72-year-old Italian woman, and she was with a group of people, and they were doing the trek as well. They were doing the same trek as us. They were leaving a day earlier than us. And on the way there, 4 hours before we got to the you know, the base camp area, they were on their way back, and I was so pleased to see her face, because I couldn't believe. So you could be any age,
yeah,
any shape and size.
Yeah.
You just got to have
big lungs.
You've got to have big lungs. You've got to have the mental ability, as well as the physical. But there were people of all shapes and sizes going up and down. I don't know how many of them got to base camp, but
yeah,
this 72-year-old woman was in. I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. I was.
That's incredible. So you had to set your own. Did you have to set your own tent up and things as well?
No, we stayed in kind of like lodges and things.
Oh, okay, right, okay.
The further down the mountain that we had like lighting, and there was some places that had hot water. The further on we went, there was no hot water. They were very basic. No
wow.
heat. Your heating was your sleeping bag and your thermals and God knows what. It was
Well done. Well, what an achievement. And I would say to you as well, that's an inspiration, because you know, we don't know what's ahead of us, as you say. I mean, I'm 50 this year, you're 50 next year. We don't know what lies ahead, but what an exciting world to step into. And I think if you can set yourself a plethora of more challenges ahead and just grab everything, I think you're an inspiration to anybody, that when one door closes, another door opens, and just keep walking through those doors and just see what happens ahead, because we just don't know. And you're in the industry that you love, you're working with people that are fantastic surrounding you, and who knows whether you will go back into the performance side, because you're always, your heart is in performance. As I say, you were still performing in lockdown, even from the Zoom and things. So you really, that is your essence, and that's who you are, Anthony. You are a born performer. It's an absolute pleasure to interview you today. It always is. And continue inspiring everybody that you meet. Once again, the heart and soul of London's West End. It's been a pleasure speaking to you today, my dear friend Anthony Bristoe. Thank you very much indeed, and I'll see you soon. Thanks again.
Thank you, darling. I appreciate that. Lovely chatting to you.
And you too. All the best. See you soon. Bye bye, love. Bye.